without hope. The poor woman roamed the streets of the emptying city as the call to the Maghrib prayers echoed in the purple sky, calling for the city to go to sleep. And then, as she walked, it was a carpenter's shop. In she went, into the carpenter's workshop. And there she instructed the carpenter to make her a cabinet made of 3 compartments. And she instructed him as to the precise measurements of each compartment. And then she asked him to make it quite strong, strong enough to carry heavy men. And the carpenter listened and nodded and listened and nodded. And when she asked him what the price was, he said, 20 golden dinars. 20 golden dinars! But yes, what do you think? You want me to make you a sturdy cabinet, huh? Well, for me to make you a sturdy cabinet, I have to bring wood. You know from where? From Mount Lebanon. Do you know where Mount Lebanon is? Do you know? It's very far, you know. And then I have to bring the cedar wood down here. And then, to hold the cedar wood together, I must use golden bolts. Pure gold, not just any bolt. Okay? Gold, bolts, screws, very good. But then, the handles, they must be made out of ivory. And not just any ivory. Ivory from the healthiest elephant tusks in India. I have no choice. I want to help you. You see, I want to help you, but I have no choice. It is what you ordered. Wallahi أريد أساعدك. Wallahi أريد أساعدك. But I can make you this cabinet, and you can have your choice of anything from my workshop for free, if you agree to marry me. The woman thought, I agree, she said. Oh, but could you make them 4 compartments instead of 3? Oh, the carpenter was delighted. He was elated, and he asked when he should drop off the cabinet and take this exquisite woman for his wife. At the next full moon, she said, after the Maghrib prayers. Oh, he couldn't wait. He rushed to plant a kiss. At the next full moon, after the Maghrib prayers, without delay. And with that, she walked out of his workshop. And she went to find a little slave boy. And she gave him 3 letters, one for the chief officer, one for the wazir, and one for the malik. And having finished her deed, she found the next caravan to Basra and headed home. Once home, she scrubbed the floor clean and the walls clean, and she put incense in every corner of the house, and she lined the walls with plush ruby cushions, and she made dolma leaves, those vine leaves stuffed with rice and minced meat and pine nuts, an enormous amount she made. And on the appointed day, she donned her beautiful red silk dress, and then adorned herself with her finest jewelry, and put little droplets of Arab perfume on her. And then, right on time, there was a knock on the door. It was the carpenter, and he brought in this fine cabinet, made indeed of the finest cedar wood from Lebanon, bolted together with gold, and with the handles of the smoothest, softest ivory from India. He set it down in the corner that she asked him to set, and then he jumped at his bride-to-be. No, she said. I'm not ready for you yet. I need to pack my bag. Go away, busy yourself for an hour, and then come back. 1 hour exactly. And with great hesitation, the carpenter left. And only moments after, She went to open the door. It was the chief officer. And in he came with the finest perfumes and most flavorful spices all the way from India. And he offered her them. And then he sat down and he ate from her food and he conversed with her. And when he was ready to leave, he grabbed her towards him. And just as he grabbed her, "Who's that?" he asked. "Why, it must be my father. Get ye into this cabinet lest he sees you. I'm afraid to think of what he might do." And the poor chief officer, afraid for his reputation and the scandal of being found in the house of a woman to whom he's not bound in marriage, was frightened, and he obeyed her orders. She pushed him into the first compartment, secured the lock, and went to open the door. It was the vizier. And in he came with silks of all the colors of the rainbow, all the way from Samarkand, and he offered them to her, and she sat him down, and she fed him from her food, and when it was time to leave, he took the hand of his bride-to-be and tried to take her out when... "Who's that?" asked the vizier, alarmed for his reputation, the scandal of being found in the house of a woman to whom he was not yet bound in marriage. Oh, it must be my father. Get ye into this cabinet lest he sees you. I'm afraid to think of what he might do." And the poor vizier listened intently and obeyed her orders and went into the second compartment, and she secured the lock. Then she went to open the door. It was the Malik, king of the land. And in he came with the most decadent jewels and gold from China, and he sprayed them around her, and then he sprayed some coins all over the house, throwing them and tossing them about, and without the pretense of patience, he went straight for his wife when there was another knock on the door. "Who's that?" he asked. "It must be my father." And the king said, "Well, tell him to go away." "Well, I can't tell him to go away, Your Highness. He's my father." "Well, do what you will, but get rid of him." "Your Highness, he's my father, and I know him well. I know how to get rid of him. But until then, get ye into this cabinet, lest he sees you. I'm afraid to think of what he might do." And so, in went the king into the third compartment, and the young woman secured the lock. She went to open the door. And who was it but the carpenter, coming back to collect his wife? And in he came, and as soon as he came in, she said, "Ya baghl, ya hmar, you idiot! You can't even do your job properly. How am I meant to marry you? That fourth compartment is not at all the size that I had requested. How dare you? How could you? Go in. Check it. No, listen to me. Listen, I mean it. Go in." And so in went the carpenter, bewildered as he was, for he knew for sure that his handicraft was perfect. And in he went, and as soon as he turned back, he found the door being closed and the lock being secured. Click! And with that, the woman gathered all the riches that had been offered her, and she went back to Baghdad. And with most of these riches, she bribed the bailiff and the guards, and her husband was released as expected. And the two of them rode into the sunset, away from the corruption they left behind. For you see, when you want something, try to get it. And if one way doesn't work, try another way. And if that doesn't work, try another way. And if that doesn't work, try another. For that was how a woman got what she wanted, using her wits and her